I've been in this industry now for 18 years, and every year that goes by, there's always seems to be a section of the industry that think they're superior to the other, as if what they do is more important than anything else. I'll give you a few examples. I've often worked with people who work with other coaches alongside me. So I take care of their strength and conditioning. Someone else might take care of their sport. So for example, I had a person who was a runner, and they had a running coach who took care of their sport. Now this running coach had he valued strength training none. He thought there was no point in it, and that it was actually detrimental to the runner if they do strength training. He actually used the words, they're getting too strong, which is the most mental thing I think I've ever heard. And immediately, obviously, you have to keep relations with the client. So you don't want to annoy the client. You don't want to put them in a position where they're in between you guys. Well, I do anyway. He clearly didn't. So I just kind of went, well, you know, I've got my ways. And I explained why it was so important to be strong. You know, I'll break it down for you now. I may as well just break it down for you now. What we're looking for when we're running, for example, is for the correct lines, right? To run efficiently. This is what I know, but it's also what I'm told by multiple running coaches. They need to run correctly so they manage their energy, they're energy efficient, and they're much less likely to get injured. You think how many steps they do when they run? They do thousands and thousands and thousands of steps, especially if they're running long distances, which means they have thousands of steps to go wrong. And I had a conversation with someone about this, and I agreed with them. I couldn't agree more. So yes, the running technique is hugely important. I could not agree more. You have to practice it. What I would say is though, if you haven't got the strength endurance, then you're not going to be able to maintain that anyway, no matter how good you get at the technique. And just because you have the strength endurance, if you don't know the technique, you're going to get it wrong as well. So both are equally important. So when someone turns around to me, which someone did, and said, I think strength, I'm not interested in how strong they are. I think they're getting too strong. I think strength is useless. Makes me think they're a moron. Okay, but you can't, I didn't want to say that, not because I was afraid to offend the person who I was talking to. I didn't want to put my client, who was also their client, in the middle of this conflict between me and the other individual. You see, I wanted to be helpful. And I get this a lot. I mean, and yeah, I think the people in the strength world do it as well. They undervalue your cardio, which is nonsense, right? But I think it's more the other way around. I think people see people in the fitness industry, in the weights room, I should say, as meatheads, right? I mean, I'm definitely not a meathead. I've been weight training now for, I'm 38. I've been weight training since I was 16. So many, many years. And the way I envisioned myself looking when I was 16 is not what I look like now. But I'm in good shape. I'm pretty strong. And guess what? I'm pretty much injury free. Okay, I've got no muscular niggles. The injuries I do get are usually due to a sport, some sort of impact, rather than some sort of repetitive strain. Okay, so we're fairly robust. And ask yourself this question. So we also get this from yoga teachers. We get it from people who do Pilates. Again, it's not everyone. I'm trying my hardest not to say everyone, but there is a general trend with this, that people like me who strength train, well, that's you need to be doing this. You need to be doing stretching. You need to be doing. And is there value in stretching? Yes, but let me ask you this. When you go to a physio for an injury, what do they try and do? They give you a couple of stretches, but their ultimate goal is to make that joint more stable, okay? You don't get stability by just doing mobilization exercise. You have to make the joint stable. How do you make the joint stable? You have to load bear it. You have to make it stronger. Weight training doesn't always look like someone picking up a massive deadlift as heavy as they can, or squatting as much weight as they can till their eyes pop out of their head. There's way more. That's like the final bit. You know, that's the extremity. Most of the time, strength training is very moderate and very considered. If you get a good coach, you'll get someone who is able to progress your program in a steady way. So I guess the reason I'm bringing this out is because it was really, really starting to bug me. I mean, I never, when people come to me with, I spoke to this running guy who told me that strength was shit. That's like me saying, oh, well, I know you do running and you like running, but you see all that running, it's shit. You know, it's like I'm saying that, oh, you don't need your heart and lungs to be healthy. You just need your muscles to be healthy and your joints to be stable. That's all you need in life. That's the equivalent. You know, so everyone knows our heart and lungs need to be healthy. We know that. So I've just found so many cases where it's not reciprocated. Okay, and the reality is this: you need to be strong, you need to be relatively mobile, not massively mobile, but relatively mobile, and your health of your heart and lungs needs to be good. And all these things contribute to a good life as you grow older, or I should say, the potential of having a better life when you grow older. Not one or the other, all of them collectively. Now, here's the question. If I had the choice, if someone said to me, if they could only do one thing, what would it be? I would definitely choose strength training. And the reason for that is because when you get to 80, 90, you're not really going to be running around that much, are you? So your cardiovascular health doesn't need to be really good. It just needs to be at a level, right? So walking around, if you continue to go for walks and things like that, but then you don't need a huge cardiovascular base. And mobility, well, when you're in your 80s, you need mobility enough to get up and down off the floor and pick things up off the floor, right? So you don't need to be the most flexible person in the world. But one thing you do need to be is strong. You know, and I'm not saying you need to be able to pick up the heaviest weight you can, but what you do need to be able to do is pick yourself up off a chair, pick yourself up off the ground if you trip. And going into the tripping, first, if you're strong, you're going to stop yourself from tripping. If you have the speed in your hip to catch yourself as you trip, we all do it. We kind of trip off the edge of something and we quickly catch ourselves. Now, when you get older, you lose that ability to quickly catch yourself. So I don't know if you've ever seen an old person fall over. It's not a very nice thing. But it happens in slow motion, and you look at it and you think, well, why haven't they just put their foot out? And the reason they haven't put their foot out is they haven't got the speed and strength to put their foot out. And you don't get that from running, and you don't get that from stretching. You get it from being strong, keeping your knee joint and your hip joint, keeping some strength there and some power there so that you can quickly catch yourself. We've got clients in here who are 89 and 86, and I've seen them do it in here. I've seen them trip in here off their own feet and then catch themselves, and that's 89. Now, someone else who hasn't been doing that trips, falls, breaks their hip, and then all of a sudden, that could be it for them. They could be in a wheelchair from that point on. So where I think all aspects of training need to be considered, if you were to give me one, if you had the choice of just one, what would it be? It would be the strength training every time. But what do I know? That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.